In this video, we'll learn how to use the dot product to find the angle between vectors. So if a vector dot b vector is equal to mod of a vector times mod of b vector times cos of theta, we can use this to find the angle between these vectors. We can use this to find cos of theta. How do we do that? Well, you flip it around. Cos of theta, that's equal to a vector dot b vector divided by mod of a vector times mod of b vector. So if we already know what the dot product is, and we know the magnitudes, we can figure out cos of theta, which will help us figure out theta. Here's an example. Find the angle between two vectors with magnitudes root 3 and 2 and having a vector dot b vector having the dot product equals to root of 6. Pause the video, try this out. Okay, so it's just plugging the values. Cos of theta, that's equal to the dot product, that's root of 6 divided by the product of their magnitudes, that's root 3 times 2. So let's simplify. This gives us root 3 cancels out. We have root 2 divided by 2. That's 1 upon root 2. Now for which angle do we have cos as 1 by root 2? That's 45 degrees. That's pi by 4. So theta is equal to pi by 4. Let's solve a few more problems. If a vector is equal to I cap minus 2j cap plus 3k cap and b vector is 3i cap minus 2j cap plus k cap, find the angle between the vectors. Pause the video, give this a try. Okay, so let's find the dot product first. We have seen how to find the dot product of two vectors when we have their components. We can multiply 1 with 3, we get 3. And then we have minus 2 times minus 2, that's 4. And then we have 3 times 1, that's 3. And then we add all of them. So 3 plus 4 plus 3, that's equal to 10. So a vector dot b vector, that's equal to 10. Now we need their magnitudes. So mod of a, that's equal to square root of 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square. That's 1 plus 4 plus 9. That's 14. So mod of a is root of 14. What's mod of b? That's root of 3 square plus 2 square plus 1 square. That's root of 9 plus 4 plus 1. That's also root of 14. So now we have all the components, all the ingredients. We can find the angle. A vector dot b vector, that's mod of a, mod of b cos of theta. So cos of theta is equal to a vector dot b vector divided by the product of their magnitudes. So we have these three values. We have 10 divided by root 14 times root 14, that's equal to 14. So we have 10 by 14, that's 5 by 7. So if cos of theta is 5 by 7, and if we don't know this angle, we can just write this as theta equals to cos inverse 5 by 7. That's the angle. Let's solve one more. A vector equals to 5i cap minus j cap minus 3k cap, and b vector equals to I cap plus 3j cap minus 5k cap. So we have a and b. The question is, show that the vectors a vector plus b vector and a vector minus b vector are perpendicular. So we have to show that these two vectors are perpendicular. Pause the video, give this a try. Okay, so as we have seen in the previous video, vectors are perpendicular when the angle between them is 90. And when that happens, their dot product is 0. So if we want to show that their dot product is 0, we have to find that. So first we need a plus b and a minus b. Let's find them first. A vector plus b vector, that's 6i cap plus 2j cap minus 8k cap. And what's a minus b? That's 4i cap minus 4j cap plus 2k cap. Now we have these two. We can take the dot product. A vector plus b vector dot a vector minus b vector, that's equal to 6 times 4, that's 24. 2 times minus 4, that's minus 8. And minus 8 times 2, that's minus 16. 24 minus 24, that's equal to 0. So their dot product is 0. Their magnitudes are clearly not 0. This means that the angle between them has to be 90 degrees. So neither of them are 0 vectors. Neither of them have magnitude equal to 0. This means cos of theta must be 0 or theta is 90 degrees, which means they are perpendicular. Let's move on. For which values of theta do we have a vector dot b vector greater than or equal to 0? Theta is the angle between these two vectors, a vector and b vector. So pause the video, think about it. For which values of theta do we have a positive or a non-negative dot product? So dot product is equal to mod of a vector, mod of b vector, cos of theta. This is greater than or equal to 0. This is greater than or equal to 0. This means if you have to make the dot product greater than or equal to 0, we have to make cos of theta greater than or equal to 0. And when is cos of theta greater than equal to 0? We can use our trigo knowledge. Cos of theta is positive in the first quadrant, is negative in the second quadrant. So for theta greater than equal to 0, we'll take 0, we'll take pi by 2, and we'll take all values in the first quadrant. So theta lies between 0 and pi by 2, including both of them. So for these values of theta, we have the dot product as non-negative. One final problem: if a vector, b vector, and a vector plus b vector are all unit vectors, what is the angle between a vector and b vector? This is a challenging one. Pause the video, try this out. Okay, so we're given that all three of them are unit vectors, and we need to find the angle between a vector and b vector. So dot product will help us with the angle. So let's try finding that. But which dot product? Let's try finding the dot product of a vector plus b vector with itself. So a vector plus b vector dot a vector plus b vector. Now if we expand it, it will give us dot products with each other. This will give us a vector dot a vector plus b vector dot b vector plus a vector dot b vector plus b vector dot a vector. So that's 2 times a vector dot b vector. But what exactly do we have on the left hand side? We have a vector having its dot product with itself. That's equal to its magnitude times cos of 0. Because the angle between the vector and itself has to be 0. And that's the case here as well. A vector dot a vector, that's mod of a cos of 0. That's the same for b, but that's not the same for a vector dot b vector. This is where our theta is. That's 2 times mod of a vector, mod of b vector, cos of theta. For every other dot product, we have cos 0 because we're taking dot products with the same vector. And for this one, we have cos of theta. So what do we have? Mod of a vector plus b vector, but we know that this is 1 because the question says all three of them are unit vectors. So all these mods are 1. We have 1 times 1 times 1, 1 times 1 times 1, 1 times 1 times 1, 2 times 1 times 1 times cos of theta. So we can simplify this. We have 1 equals to 1 plus 2 cos of theta. And this equation will help us get to the value of theta. So this is minus 1 equals to 2 cos theta, or cos of theta equals to minus half. And when is cos of theta minus half? Now that's a negative value, so it's in the second quadrant. Cos theta is half for theta equals to pi by 3. So that's pi minus pi by 3. That's 2 pi by 3. So if all three of these vectors are unit vectors, the angle between a and b is 2 pi by 3.